with that, we're going to dive into now. I want to talk a little bit more. You brought this up because I know this is important. You've got a ton of certifications.
Yeah.
Of those certifications, some of the most important here. Tell me let's start off with HAG. What is HAAG? Is that what that is?
Yeah, HAG, it's
What does that
hail
mean?
and wind, residential, commercial, metal and shingle
Okay.
certification to be certified in hail damage and wind damage. So it allows us to inspect properties and identify damages is what it does.
So then there's a specific analysis. They're digging with real data, not to say, hey, I think there's a dent over there. I think that thing should be. No, here's the depth and the width
Yeah,
and the angle
yeah,
and
yeah.
how many millimeters and everything that goes into analyzing this to say, oh, you get 5 of those. Now this thing's more
Yeah.
damage. It's got to be replaced. Unlike my cap over
Yeah,
here.
so yeah, it teaches you exactly what damage is, the impact on the backing of shingles, and what is clarified as actual hail damage and not just hail hits. And when it becomes engineerly defective to a roof from the damage, the impact.
Yeah, when it's something engineered the way it's not functioning the way it's supposed to. The engineering isn't working anymore. That's when they can prove this. And there's tests they have that. There's diagnostics they have for that. You're certified to make sure that they're doing this the right way.
Yeah, correct. We're just certified to identify the damage.
Okay. Now another thing we talked about. Let's go a couple of these over here. And which one of these claims training service that gets into?
Yeah, that's a subrogation training.
Sorry, what does that subrogation mean then exactly, and how does that work?
What that is when someone's impacted by a loss, whether it's hail or wind or tree damage, storm damage. It always starts with a loss statement from an insurance company. With our HAG certifications and our subrogation training, it allows us to navigate and write the loss statements and help the customer understand the process of what they go through with the insurance company when they come out and they inspect the damage and exactly what's going on there.
Now that gets to where it gets very critical for the homeowner. How often is it the case? Some people want to go talk to the insurance company themselves. You need an expert like yourself that can go in there because you can actually. Do you do some of the diagnosis there to say here's the damage, here's what it is? You write the reports. How does that work, and why is it so important for what you can offer?
Yeah, I mean that's part of our certifications. We're one of very few in the St. Louis area that does full loss statements. So we have our exact analysis. We have the same software, which is the Exact Aware that insurance companies use, and we have the training to navigate those. And so we're allowed to perform full inspections. So we perform full inspections on home. We identify and photograph, document, and explain in very much detail all the damages from the mailbox, the front, the right, the rear, the left elevations, all the way to the back fence, and we check the roof for damages, the gutters, the siding, and it allows us to document all that, put it into a loss statement, put it into exact analysis, and that's pretty much what an insurance adjuster does as well. So we're just a little different than most people.
Well, when you can get into that kind of depth, I mean, obviously you're going in with very much detail. I'll never forget, I had the tornado that came through in 2013, and somebody's chimney stack ends up in my front yard. Among all the other things that were damaged, it was really interesting because he comes and looks, I've got these white pillars in the front, right? And there's some tar on the side of them or something. So he just kind of points at it, he goes, I'm going to cover that, as if to say, I got you, but don't pay attention to all the other things that I'm going to skip over here because I'm covering that. I'm like, and tell me this one in particular. We had a siding specialist come on the show, a buddy of mine, Isaac Abchinikoff, and he says, so often your siding, if you've got that powder chalky feeling on there, that should have been replaced too. I have white siding, so they say, hey, it's white, it's white, it's white. It's not faded, it's not damaged. We're not replacing it. So they only did. If I'd had an expert like you standing there, you might have said, oh, wait a minute, let's point out a few things here. Is that why it's important to have somebody like you that you can talk to?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. We're weather repair specialists for a reason, you know. That's why we have the credentials, the accreditations, the affiliations. We want to We want to help customers with the process. I mean, these claims are already going to be a pain to deal with. The last thing you need to do is make it any more difficult than it's already going to be.
And is it fair to say that somebody like yourself, with the expertise you bring, who can write these things up, not just suggest, recommend, but you can actually write up, what do you call that, a claims loss?
Yeah, a loss statement.
Statement?
Yeah, it's a estimated replacement cost value for the damages that a storm has caused to your property. So pretty much most people, they call up their insurance company. Their insurance company sends an adjuster out here. These other companies, they need the adjuster to come out, assess all the damage, and then write it in exact analysis and make it a loss statement, turn it into a report that they can work off of, which we're totally different than that. We could write the full loss statement ourselves. We show up, we do a detailed inspections, and it just allows us to navigate the whole claim. A lot different than most.
Yeah, that to me, I didn't realize how important that sounds like. Oh my gosh, why wouldn't everybody want that? And they don't realize that that's many times not what they're getting.
No.
Because the loss statement, I mean, if they have the guy, I just going back to my own situation, I wish I had somebody standing by my side saying, no, wait a minute, what about over here? I can only imagine how much, and I found out later, like both sides of my house, or all four sides of my house should have likely been replaced, but I didn't know any better. The guy says, hey, you got white siding, it looks fine, it's not faded, we're not covering it. Oh man, I didn't explain to me. How many other things are there like that though, where it adds up to being $5 and $10 and $15, $30, $50,000 more in damage that should have been covered, and now when you go sell your house, these things are going to come up and they didn't get fixed.
Yeah, well, that's what's so important about using someone as accredited as us, because we fulfill the whole agreement. So we're the ones that's gonna meet your expectations. We're the ones that's gonna do the from start to finish. So the same thing that we estimate and we write in claims an exact analysis, we have to fulfill the commitment of expectations. Where adjusters, they show up, they identify as much damage as they can, they try to do the best job they can, but they don't have to do the job. They don't have to fulfill the commitment. As a business owner and as a company, we have to deal with code requirements, we have to deal with manufacturer specifications and all of those things, and repair work. What they think that can be done with 3 pieces of siding, us being specialists, we know that it's going to take 6 because you got to do it this way or that way. The same way with anything else, roofing and gutters and all of that. We know where we're supposed to put certain products, whether it's ice and water shield or code upgrades, drip edges. They don't always know that. So they write those claims the best they can, and then when a contractor has to fulfill those claims, they have to start doing what's called supplements. So that's a whole nother process to where we go in and determine what was missed. And then we got to go back, we got to photograph, document what the adjuster had missed, add it to the claim, submit it to the insurance for approval. Where when you work with us directly and we're allowed to write these loss statements, we can catch most of those things the first time. I mean, just like anything, things still get missed and some things you still got to go back for. But having a professional that's going to fulfill the commitment of the loss is a lot different than having an adjuster write the loss and then your company, then you pick a company that has to navigate what they wrote. So
it makes a lot of sense there, especially when you get into that with the impact. I mean, you talked about the actual implementer, right? Because you're right. The guy who's doing the analysis for the insurance company, say the inspector, or what's his title, I guess?
It would be a field adjuster.
Right? The adjuster, he's not the guy who actually does the work and builds these things and realizes how many screws and how many nails and how many taps and how many other components that actually make this thing to finish with the latest code. He's got his knowledge, but he's not to be the one who actually implements this. That's why I say you really bring quite a bit more to the table, because even on the other end, you got your builder, and he's going to do whatever it is to get this thing built. But does he actually understand the code and the qualifications and the loss statement that needs to be implemented here and all the details for that? You bring all that to the table. You're going to help make sure this gets done.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we write them, we know what we have to do. We know the requirements and the upgrades, the code requirements, things like that. Where a lot of these other contractors, if the insurance didn't pay for drip edge, they're not installing it. If they didn't pay for ice and water shield around the edge, they're not installing it. The adjuster ain't installing it. And, I mean, he's not writing for it because it was never there. The only reason we're writing for it is because we know it's a local code requirement or it's a manufacturer specification, and that allows us to be able to do a better quality job because we know more of the process.
Yeah, because I guess there are certain things. You get into some of the other certifications. We talked about, is it Owens Corning you have certification with?
We are a preferred contractor through Owens Corning. We're certified installers through Certainteed for roofing and siding and flat roof material products and things like that.
And that adds a lot to the quality overall, because when you've got these certifications, again, back to you've got manufacturers that are saying, here are the requirements. That's what something I got. Take note on that one. I think that was important what Jimmie was talking about, because they'll replace it the way it was, especially if you let them.
Yeah.
But when that code says otherwise, or the manufacturer says otherwise, says, hey, there's a warranty that comes with this thing, but the warranty is not valid if they don't install it the right way.
That's correct.
And so then you just let them get done with the job, and then they're going to say, 3 years from now, there's a problem. They go, this isn't up to the way this was designed. If there's no warranty, you got to pay for it yourself now.
Well,
and there's a problem.
Mainly, yeah, especially with certain things. I mean, contractors, if the insurance didn't pay for it, then they didn't install it. Seems like they're a loophole, where as a good contractor, we know what's right. Whether it's adding step flashing, we're going to add it because it's what's right. Some contractors, they're going to skip some of it because the insurance didn't pay for it. They're not going to they probably don't have the clerical or the training or the exact analysis, the software to even write it up or get it approved from the insurance, where they're just going to navigate it for what the insurance wrote. We're going to navigate it for what the industry standard is. So pretty important to use an educated
very
company.
Important. I didn't realize that's it goes along with so many people. They just don't realize all of what goes into this, and then they walk away and they got the job done and they're off and find out weeks or years later, oh, here's a problem you didn't know you had because somebody didn't take the time. This is where you step in, and you're going to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what our job is.
Nice. All right. So along those lines, as we got into a whole separate dialogue there, because we wanted to talk about that, what is it you really think that sets you apart? I mean, this is a big part of that, right? There's a lot of things, but if you had to nail down a few things that you really do better than just about everybody else out there, bringing all this together for people.
What sets us apart is I'm still an operator, owner-operator. I'm still hands-on. I still work the field, and I know what's right and wrong. And the credentials, accreditations, that's really just what sets us apart.
Accreditations out the wazoo, ladies and gentlemen. They go on and on here, and we're talking about additional credit. This is what you get as a packet, right? Somebody gets this kind of paperwork picked up, usually, so you can say, here's everything that you get, and so that you know it's printed out on paper. The old style paper stuff, we still have that, and people get that kind of information. I haven't seen anybody else can offer that, right? With this many certifications that you've got.
No, they offer, some places offer certain things, but yeah, we got a letter of introduction. It kind of explains to you how everything works. A couple of pages of credentials and accreditations and affiliations, sponsorships, and obviously a copy of insurance, very important. So yeah, that's what we bring to the table.
Okay, good stuff. Something that sets you apart. We'd like to talk about that. When you get down to it, there's obviously many places, much room for a consumer, for a homeowner, to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think is the biggest mistake homeowners typically make when going through this process? Getting a house fixed up, damage that can happen from a storm, etc.
I think it's probably not, obviously, Better Business Bureau. You always want to check your local Better Business Bureau. You want to check if the license requirements or accreditations, but mainly local. Just using a brick and mortar company, someone that is committed to have an establishment that you can go to, where If you have a problem, you go right to the office, and they're the ones that they keep the standard. They're in the community. They're there. They're a staple. They're a fixture. They support local, support brick and mortar.
And that's what we talked about on his Jimmie's. There it is, home improvement service company. For his Google listing, Jimmie has pictures of his actual location where you can go in, sit down, talk to people, look at some samples, look at some materials, and get a good handle on. There's a physical location there that obviously then people, there's a website, but here's that they can go in and see what this is, a real brick and mortar business.
Oh,
This
yeah.
isn't somebody working out of a truck and with a ladder and then chucking a truck, they call that, right?
Yeah,
And
well,
they show up, but now you've got something behind this that is part of the community.
yeah, see, so unfortunately with the roofing industry, there's not a whole lot of requirements to call yourself a roofer. So you got a lot of people that work out of home and things like that, where when things really get sideways or go wrong, they don't have to answer the door. They don't have to answer the phone. Where your local brick and mortar company, they're going to have a door. They're going to have business hours. You're going to be able to stop by.
When you have a shop located in the city or town in the vicinity, there you can actually go somewhere. Hey, I got an issue here.
Yeah.
Something popped up, and you can knock on the door. And somebody answers, 9 to 5 or even after hours. Sometimes probably somebody's there. I'll answer that question.
Yep, that's exactly how it is. That's why we're there. That's the whole importance of a brick and mortar company.
Well, there it is. Take one more look at that on the wall up there, everybody. But you can see great information there and a lot of stuff that they've got available so that you know that you have somebody that you can talk to get your information and questions answered, because it's nice to have a real person to talk to at a real facility that they can reach out and get their questions answered.
That's correct.
All right, we're gonna a lot of questions here we've covered, but we also want to show a lot of the work that's been done here. And so, Andrea
Yeah, Andrea.
sent off just a sample of pictures while we were in between shows, and said, "Here, give us some of the work you've got, and talk to us a little bit about what we've got going here." Up on the wall, up to the right there, our TV wall. Tell us what's going on with this particular picture. Describe the work you did here.
This is just a house that was affected by the hail actually last year in Valley Park. It just took on major damage. We redid the entire roof, all new gutters, all new siding, soffit, fascia. We even installed sunburst over the windows, metal over all the columns, just pretty much all brand new everything on the outside of this house.
Okay, so is that red tape that's for stuff that you've replaced, or
That was
marked to be?
that was temporary repairs from holes that was in the siding.
Okay.
And we do that over the second levels because those holes will leak down into the interior of a home.
I gotcha.
So that is a temporary service. It's preventive maintenance until the siding can be replaced.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Okay. All right, let's move you on down through. So we got some here. What did you finish on this particular house?
You know, it's just probably another. It had some damage. It's just a house that we showed up to do an inspection.
Good looking house, and looks like you got it in order here. So
Yeah.
good work. All right, as we continue on here, tell me, pretty good sized house here. What was going on here?
Yeah, now this isn't one of our full installs. This is a new home from last year. I believe this one was out in St. Charles, but yeah, a very big, nice home. We've done all new roof on this house. We've done some fascia work. We did all new gutters. We did some work to the back porch. We put all new shutters on this house. So yeah, big house, a lot of work.
Yeah, looks like you got it all nailed down there. And
Yeah,
that
it turned out
siding
really
looks really
nice.
good with everything
Yeah.
finished. 3-car garage there.
Yeah, it turned out really nice.
Looks really, really nice. Okay, good. And some more here. Did you ever the grass looks pretty good too? You got everything going on here.
Yeah,
I like that garage door too.
Yeah, now this one, it was a Herculaneum job. This was a storm damage replacement right there in Herculaneum. We ended up doing a lot of work to this house. It ended up getting a whole new roof, all new gutters. It got the whole left side of the siding replaced. It had a shed out back, had a couple of outbuildings. But yeah, a whole lot of work got done to this house.
Okay. And lots there to examine because there's plenty of work to be done when you got all that kind of vinyl and everything in there too.
Yeah.
A little more here.
Yep, another one that was affected by the hailstorm. We installed all new roof, new gutters, a full gutter cover. We installed new skylights to this house, which those are the old ones. But yeah, we redid the whole entire house, all brand new shingles, brand new gutters, brand new skylights, brand new everything.
Wow, it must have been a heck of a storm then. I guess
Yeah.
those come through, don't they?
That was before picture of a roof that we did. We have after pictures as well.
Okay. Some of this is
That's
where you
still that same Valley Park job.
Oh wow, okay, because there's that. So everywhere there's that tape, that's where hail had hit and torn.
That is where hail is hit. Yeah, so we just tape it up to prevent any moisture getting in behind there and causing any more damage.
That's quite a bit of damage that's obviously hit there. I mean, almost covered with
holes,
I guess.
Yeah,
Whoever popped in there.
Yeah, there was quite a bit more than that as well.
All right. And as we go, another cute house here. What?
Yeah,
Tell me.
just this one was actually this one's in Hillsboro. We ended up installing new roof, new gutters, the left side siding, new downspouts. So yeah, they got new roofing, some new siding, new gutters.
You notice Jimmie here knows everything about each one of these because you were actually on site with all of these.
Oh yeah, I'm hands-on. I did the gutters on this job myself. In fact, I'll tell you who I am. A couple of my gutter guys, they did this front gutter and it was short on the edge. And I said, how short is the gutter on the edge? They said, oh, it'll work. Well, I looked back and it was like an inch short of the shingle. I said, no, it won't work. So I tore it off and put it back on correctly. So that's what we are. Now, and this one's a very good example. This one, they had a local insurance company that just wanted an estimate for replacement. We showed up with our training, our certifications, our credentials, mainly with Exact Analysis and Exactimate. We're able to photograph, document, and write the whole loss for this house. And an adjuster never seen this house. We sent it straight to the insurance company, the desk adjuster. They approved all the work. We got the customer new roof, new gutters, and some new siding, all just with one of our inspections.
The expertise that you bring to the table.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
People need that. All right. Finishing up here, we got a couple left.
Yeah, so this is actually the after picture of the picture we showed earlier.
Okay.
This is the new skylights, the all new roof. We redid all the flashing around that chimney. Now that chimney is a stone chimney. So all that flashing's real nice. It's all cut into the brick and the stone. Brand new skylights. One of these skylights was busted in the hailstorm, so that was dried in before. So that's actually an after picture of one that we had showed earlier.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. And here we go. What else we got here?
The same thing. That's an after picture of one of the ones we showed earlier.
Okay.
It was a brown roof. This is what it ended up turning out after we got done. We did all new roof on this one. We did the gutters. We did the garage door wrap. We did the whole left side of the siding. And we also did the left side of the main house where the roof line meets. So this got new roof, new siding on the left side, new vents, all new gutters, new downspouts. Yeah.
Full job there. Got everything.
Yeah, full job. Really turned out a lot different. And that was the before picture of the one that we was looking at in Herculaneum.
Okay.
Now we got after pictures. And that's an after picture of one of the, see, this is the starburst we put over the windows. This was the one in Valley Park. So now all this tape ain't there no more. It's got all new siding. We put the sunburst over the windows. We installed all new soffits, all new fascia, all new gutters, all metal around the columns, new roof. I mean, the whole outside of this house got redone.
Very cool. Well, lots of great stuff there. Big house here.
Big house there. This one, I believe, is out towards Wentzville or, O'Fallon area.
Very cool. All right, as we finish up here, we've got a little bit more left to share with everybody. But I mean, geez, you've got work all over the state, and a little bit for everybody there.
Yeah, we work a 1 hour corridor.
That's a big house there too. So
Yeah.
and there's
Turned out really nice. That was a before picture when we first did the job.
Okay.
Or first looked at the job. Got our yard sign in the yard. We don't use them often, but we do sometimes.
Nice. All right. Well, tell me, when was the time you had an issue with a client that they were just stuck and you had to step up and really help somebody? I'm sure with as many years as you've been doing this, you've got a couple of great stories where you really got to help somebody that was in a tough situation.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go too far back. We just got affected by a really bad storm in the area, and I'm sure everybody's well aware of that. So, for the last couple of days since Friday night, we offer emergency service. So we've temporary repaired, whether it was tarping or using an ice and water shield, but we've temped in a lot of roofs, over 40 roofs and siding, and that's what we've done over just the last couple of days. So we like to just have a commitment to the industry and to our customers, so we provide an emergency service. What we want to do is we want to try to get them dry as fast as we can, and that way they can start the process of rebuilding.
So something I wanted to share with you guys, did a little research. These guys do some great support for their community. Jamar Pemberton, pro boxer, right out of that area, right down there by where Jimmie's got his business, and doing a great thing in his career boxing wise. 8,000 followers he's got now on social media, on his Instagram. They also like to sponsor St. Jude, Wounded Warriors. That's another big one close to my heart. Little League Baseball. That's awesome. Everybody knows Cowboy played a lot of baseball. They just support that. And the local high school, Hillsborough High School, about a mile and a half away from the location here. They also have a rookie dirt track driver who's unnamed at this point, but he's up and coming. Sponsor them too, as well as the local Lions Club. Hey, these guys are doing great stuff. Keep up the good work. All right, there. Somebody leading the community, making a difference here. Give it up for Jimmie Dean, Andrea, and your whole team. How many people are on your team now that work with you? You got crews and...
Yeah, we have a very large team. We work with upwards of 40, 50 workers that add up to a lot. 4 or 5 roofing crews, 2 or 3 siding crews, a couple of gutter crews. Takes a lot of people to put back things like this.
There it is, everybody. Get a hold of Jimmie if you have any help and need any help on your house. Get everything back in order. He'll do it right. Thanks, everybody. Giddy up.